What's the strangest thing you've ever been caught doing? In 3rd grade, I went to the bathroom, and thinking I was alone, put my hands against the wall, leaned forward, and let out a long gigantic fart. Afterwards I let out a nice big sigh of relief and pleasure. I turn around that some other kids had come in as I was releasing that massive fart. Did not look them in the eyes as I left edit, just to clarify due to comments, it's not the fart that was strange, no matter how long it may have been. It's the hands against the wall, prepping my body to let it rip, and moaning you unch afterwards. Being a teacher is tough. I was playing VR chat with a skeleton skin on and I kept doing stupid dances that may or may not have involved a jerk-off motion. I heard my wife's voice from outside the headset go, "What the frick? Was there a video of your wife's sister involved in any way?" I was in standstill traffic, a car had been turned off, people were loitering outside of their cars, and I had a baby squirrel that I was hand-rearing in my car. I fed it some puppy milk formula from a bottle. Looked up and realized I had an audience of about 20 people gawking at me. I once saw an old bloke slowly walk near a tree, have his hat pushed off by one of the low-hanging branches, then proceed to, slowly, pick up the hat, declare "I avenge myself" in a neutral tone, and then break a twig off the tree before slowly walking off. Arguing with myself, well, not myself, the actual person just wasn't there, so I was standing in the mirror, with animated facial expressions and gestures, lips moving, but with no sound. I now reserve these hypothetical arguments for the shower. When I am home alone. I was called in to assist my wife with putting together a friend's baby shower when her helper bailed at the last minute. My job was to prep the dirty diaper game, which, if you've not heard of it, is played like this. An assortment of name-brand candy bars and chocolates are unwrapped and then mushed into a diaper so as to resemble a baby's dirty diaper. The game participants then assess the contents of each dirty diaper and have a guess at what candy bar might be lurking within. Whoever has the most correct answers wins. Now, seeing that I was called in at the last minute, I had to complete the task while at work. So there I was, in my office, 15 or so diapers laying open on my desk, sleeves rolled up, hurriedly rolling what appeared to be a gooey, nutty turd in my hands when my boss walks in. We make eye contact. He glances at my work, looks at me as though I am dangerously unstable, then slowly steps back out of the office without saying a word. We've never spoken of it. Oh man, so I must have been about 12. I was in the car with my mom. To set the scene, it was a 3-row soccer mom van and I was in the 2nd row behind the passenger seat with my mom driving. Well, since I was 12 I got my random hormone boner. Strange and awkward enough, right? Well, I decided that I would pretend I was driving and that my boner was the stick shift. Mom caught me. Edit, a story about me playing with my boner is now my highest liked comment naturally. Walking across the road to the dumpster with a bag of trash. One arm pulled into my hoodie, flapping it like a wing, and slowly moving forward while going in circles. Saying to myself, flying in circles, flying in circles. Realizing that I was not circling in the right direction for the wing I had and reversing to circle opposite-wise. Saying flying in circles the wrong way. Come back inside and find that my whole family had been watching me. I picked up a pizza, was super excited to eat it, so I put it in the passenger seat and said something along the lines of "I'm gonna take you home and frick you up." Hyping myself and the pizza up, of course. I then saw that my window, and the window of the next car was open. A woman watched and heard me talk dirty to a pizza. Another time I accidentally made eye contact with a woman while I was licking my lips after taking a sip of an Arizona tea, and she looked extremely offended by that. That was all in her head. I'm still in denial. When I was around 10 years old, I was getting curious about sex, so I decided to look it up in the dictionary. Wouldn't you know it, my ultra-conservative mother walks in the room, so I try to play it off like I was looking up the Haida Native American tribe. She called me out for being in the S's, but I doubled down and pretended I was possibly dyslexic. What a tangled web I wove. I was once caught by an ex-girlfriend playing her cat like a banjo. I had both Slushy's front paws in my hand and was strumming on his tummy. The cat was purring so loud it made her come in to see what was going on. It was a long awkward pause followed by "Are you playing my cat?" Edit, this is my most rated comment to date and I honestly couldn't be happier. Also thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Had a co-worker that was working at a customer site. He had a creepy little crush on one of the women that worked there, but it was apparently innocent enough that no one really cared. Until one day the woman came back from lunch and saw him pick up the cushion from her chair and sniff it. He was asked to leave. Was at the driveway at Wendy's and had exact change. As I was switching the money one hand to another, the quarter slipped in between my legs and I went to grab it, but it slipped down further and the guy comes to the window as I have one hand full with cash and the other hand in between my legs trying to grab the quarter. He looked at me and said, "I'm not even going to ask," and I just said the quarter fell between my legs. "I have exact change." I got it and handed it to him, pulled up to the next window to get my food, and it set it what he thought he saw me doing. So embarrassing. One time my girlfriend and I had just left the house. She then remembered she needed something and went back in. Now, our house, Golders Green, London, was semi-detached with the neighbor's house. The neighbor's motorbike was kind of in our shared front yard. Since I was waiting for my girlfriend, I decided to sit on the motorbike. I heard the front door of the house close behind me, so, trying to be funny for my girlfriend, I leaned over the tank of the motorbike and started pretending to rev the throttle and making vroom, vroom motorbike noises. Like, really getting into it. I didn't hear any laughing, so I turned around and it was actually my neighbor standing there with this WTF look on his face. Me, newlywed to my then husband, had to leave our apartment and move in with his somewhat disabled mother. 2 weeks in, he and I are having sexy times in our bedroom. Specifically, he's going downtown and eating at the Y. Mill knocks and immediately opens the door, saying dinner's on the table. Awkward pause, everyone freezes. His face is buried in my crotch. She stands shocked still, then huffs, and says, "Well, I see you've already eaten," slams the door and goes away. We giggle, recoup, and go to eat. Most awkward meal of my life. "Well, I see you've already eaten. You have been blessed with a great mother-in-law." Sitting on the floor of my kitchen with the lights turned off while making mac and cheese. It doesn't help that the roommate who caught me is the one who would always find me sitting on the floor eating animal crackers or cereal out of the box. Mouse got access to the keyboard again. I was licking the bottle of empty Gatorade saying, "Damn, I wish I left some for today." My friends and I did some questionably gay pranks back in the day as pubescent boys. Moon in front of the TV screen, stuff like that. One day I snuck into my friend's room, he had glass doors to the front yard, and got ready. I got naked and put on a sombrero, and equipped my pecker in the wide end of a vuvuzela. Laid in his bed and wait. Few minutes later his mom walks in during a family function. I was mortified. She either didn't notice or just ignored it and walked out. Was I caught? Too afraid to ask. I think as long as you either stay perfectly still or put your hands over your eyes, you're invisible. As a pet sitter, sometimes you get lonely when the majority of your interactions are with animals. So, to combat this, I sometimes pretend to be the inner voice of whatever dog I'm walking, responding out loud to whatever they're sniffing or whatever grabs their attention. Each dog has his/her own weird voice as well. More than once people have walked around a corner to hear me doing this. One time my, then, girlfriend's mom caught me pissing in her kitchen sink when I was bombed out on Ambien. I had no recollection of it the next morning. Popping my friend's back by picking him up from behind and bouncing him repeatedly. A teacher walked into the room and we all froze. In college, in lab, was coding to get double linked list to work. When my program worked, I hugged the monitor and kissed it. It's CRT monitor, so yam old smile right at that moment. Janitor guy walks in and sees it all and has this puzzled look.